Welcome back to another episode of the Field of 68's College Basketball Offseason Grades. And today we are going to be breaking down the Duke Blue Devils, who are, depending on who you ask, either the preseason number 1 or number 2 team in college basketball, in large part because they bring back so much talent. Let's roll through it really quick. They are bringing back Jeremy Roach. They are bringing back Kyle Filipowski. They are bringing back Tyrese Proctor. They are bringing back Mark Mitchell. They are bringing back Ryan Young. They are adding to that one of the best recruiting classes in college basketball. Jared McCain, Sean Stewart, Caleb Foster, and Jeff Goodman's favorite, TJ Power. That is as good of a top 9 as you're going to have in college basketball anywhere. Obviously, they lost the likes of Derek Whitehead, Derek Lively, Jacob Grandison, some important pieces. But Jeff, this is as loaded of a roster as you are going to find in college basketball this season.
Wait, we're not breaking down Austin Peay? I thought we were breaking down Austin Peay.
That's the next episode. That's the next episode.
Right, good. All right, all good. Yeah, listen. This was a team that again brings in a really talented freshman class, but the key for this Duke team that separates them is the veterans, right? Jeremy Roach isn't going to set the world on fire, but he's a veteran who's played multiple years. Kyle Filipowski and Mark Mitchell and Tyrese Proctor have a year under their belt now. That's the difference. In an era in which experience wins, I think Duke has enough of it, and they've got a guy in Proctor coming back who you love more than everybody, and everybody loves him. Like, it's not like everybody doesn't like Proctor. You're just kind of holding down the president of a fan club that is already extremely large because he started slow, but he finished strong, and he's got all the skill set, the combination of the size, the ability to make people better, the ability to shoot the basketball. So you put Roach next to him with Proctor having the ball in his hands. That's a really, really good backcourt with some experience.
Yeah, they are exactly what we kind of hoped NIL would be for college basketball. Right? Like, you have guys like Tyrese Proctor and Kyle Filipowski who probably could have gone to the NBA and been late first, early second round picks, and depending on, how they worked out and a bunch of other different factors. But they decided to come back to school in part because they were able to make at least an adequate enough amount of money to be able to make up for the fact that they're not going to be getting those NBA paychecks. And the trade-off is Tyrese Proctor might go from being an early second round pick to potentially being a lottery pick if things go right for him, right? So I think that's the benefits of the NIL. My question to you is this. If you're Jon Scheyer and you have these freshmen coming in and you have guys that are probably committed to the program, expecting to step into starting roles, expecting to step into 25 to 30 minutes, one, what does your starting lineup look like? And two, how do you balance the expectations of a freshman versus having guys coming back? Like, let's just say Mark Mitchell. He's probably good enough where he's going to deserve to play 30 minutes this season, right? How are you going to work around that?
You know what? Looking back at Jon Scheyer's rookie year and the way he handled Derek Lively and Isaiah White, Derek Whitehead, not Isaiah Whitehead, the way he handled those guys in the preseason and early in the regular season, I think he'll figure it out. Now, again, yeah, are people going to be unhappy with their roles? Absolutely. There's no way, again, Scheyer's not playing when it gets into the meat of it, of the ACC play. He's not playing more than 8 or 9 guys. And then when he gets to the tournament, you're playing 8, maybe 9. So, guys like Jalen Blakes and Jaden Schutt, like, listen, it's going to be hard because you got really good guards coming in and Jared McCain and Caleb Foster that are probably more talented than those two. I think TJ Power, again, as much as you're the president of the Proctor fan club, I'm clearly the president. And other than TJ Power's family, probably right now, the president of that fan club. I love him because, again, we saw him, and you had to like him too because he was the best player at the Peach Jam. I know AAU ball is something different, but he was the best player at the Peach Jam because he played hard as shit. He made people better. He made big shots. He moved the ball. He defended. Like, there was nothing that kid didn't do, and he's older. And again, for the NBA, that may hurt you. For college, I'll take an older dude any day of the week. He played at Worcester Academy, and I think that helped him. He's the guy that you fill in because if you throw Proctor, Roach, Mitchell, out there with Filipowski. Filipowski's going to have to play the 5. He's going to play a lot at the 5 now. What do you need with those 4? What fits in? TJ Power. He fits in. He's exactly what you need from that group because he can do a little bit of everything.
So is that what your starting line would be? Is the 4
for me?
attorneys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If I'm Scheyer, I'm not. I'm way better looking than Jon Scheyer. But if I'm Jon Scheyer, that's my starting 5.
Okay. So who is the X factor for this group? Who is the guy where you are saying, we know what Tyrese Proctor is going to be more or less. We know what Filipowski is going to be more or less. Who is the guy that you see taking this team from being a championship contender to being the best team in college basketball?
I mean, it's TJ Power for me. It really is, because I know everything is about TJ Power. Everything.
Yeah, we're just going to rename this TJ Powers offseason grades.
Well, it is, because again, if TJ Power is what I think he can be, he's going to average 12 points, 5 or 6 boards, 2.5, 3 assists. Like, that's what you need with this team, right? You don't need that much more scoring. I mean, you got Proctor, Roach, Filipowski. Those 3, I mean, Filipowski is going to average, what, 17? I would
17
say.
10, something like that.
Right. Proctor's going to average 15 to 17. That's 32. Mitchell's going to average 10. That's 42. Roach is going to average 14 or 15. Right there, you got the bulk of your scoring. So all you need is 10, 12 points out of Power and a guy who can rebound, move the ball. He's the key that takes them, to me, to a Final Four championship type team. The other guys are pieces, right? You don't need a ton out of Jared McCain or Caleb Foster, even though they're talented as hell. I would assume one will go pro, one will transfer after the year. That would be my guess, because one's just not going to get enough time. Period.
Well, I mean, look, they're gonna, if they come back, they are going to be the starting guard in the role that Tyrese Proctor and Jeremy Roach is,
depending on who else they recruit.
Yeah, true, but no one's. It would be the same situation where they'd be playing over the guys. Anyway, that's not the point. That next year is not what we're talking about. We're talking about this year. For me, I think the X factor is Mark Mitchell. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the 3 guys, if you look at the 3 guys that we mentioned, the 3 stars, 3 leading scorers, 3 people, the first 3 people you circle on a scouting report, you're not talking about defense for any of them, right? Like, Tyrese Proctor is out there because he's a great creator, a much better than the 32% 3-point shooter. Filipowski's out there because he's a bucket, right? Jeremy Roach, great leader, floor spacer, complimentary point guard, like the quintessential Duke 4-year star, right? He is a guy that he's never going to have to pay for a drink in Durham ever again. But Mark Mitchell's a defender. He is the junkyard dog. He's the X factor. He's the guy that does all of the things those other guys don't do that you need to be able to do to win. And if he could thrive in that
that's
role,
not an X factor. He's going to do it. Like, I'm not worried, because I think he's going to do it. That's what he does. So that's why I'm saying TJ Power is the X factor, because he brings you something that people don't know yet. And he's just got to fit in to a group that's already established.
What you really meant there is TJ Power's the X factor, because I had to find an excuse to be able to talk about him on this episode.
Again. For
right,
TJ Power. Because
hey, look, again, he better be good, because if he doesn't,
he's going to be good.
Yeah, good.
He's going to be good.
All right, what is your level of expectation for this team? Is it national championship or bust? Is it Final Four or bust? Is it a disappointment if they don't win an ACC regular season title? Like, what's your view on this team heading into the season?
I mean, they're top 2 preseason, but that doesn't mean you go national championship or bust. I mean, that's stupid in this day and age of college hoops, where we see really good teams get knocked off in the NCAA tournament. I would say, again, a top 10-ish team all year, be in the top 10, have a chance to fight for an ACC title, be in the mix, one of the top 2 teams. And then, to me, get to the second weekend and see what happens. I don't think again, yes, I think in their view, it's Final Four, and that's how they should be thinking at this point. National title, Final Four. If you get to a Final Four, that's a hell of a year. Scheyer's done a great job recruiting. We see that he's kind of stacked classes right now. That's the biggest thing. If you can stack classes and keep, which he did, the core of the team and probably more of the production. I mean, think about it. Like, he lost, Lively and Whitehead. All right, like, those dudes weren't the most productive guys on the team. they were both good, and Lively could be a game changer defensively. And that's going to be the biggest worry too. For me, it's rim protection, right? Like Kyle Filipowski, I guess would be like a college version, a little bit of like Porzingis to me, a little bit better inside, but like that type of player, right? That type of big, skilled. He can't shoot it as well as Porzingis from three, but he can step out and shoot it. He's got to be tougher. And he was pretty damn tough last year in college, rebounding the ball, staying out of foul trouble, because you don't have Derek Lively now to make up for your mistakes. Lively played the 5. And
I mean, that's going to be the thing with this team, right? Is they're going to have to win games 85-75. Yeah. You're not winning games in the 60s if you're Duke, because you're not built for defense. You're built to score. You're built to be one of these.
It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, they're going to be like top 5 in the country offensive efficiency.
Scheyer didn't play any defense, so this team works for him.
True. I do think that it is fair to set a level of expectation of like this team should be a Final Four team. This team should win the ACC regulars. I think that's
yes.
The rest of the ACC is not great. Things happen in the NCAA tournament. We see it all the time. 1 seeds lose to 16 seeds. 1 seeds get upset in the Sweet 16. Like it's very hard to rate an entire season on just what happens in the tournament. But like this is a Final Four team. This is a national championship
100%.
team. And they should win the ACC regular season title. They're right now, the second highest ranked teams by most outlets in the ACC is North Carolina. Okay. Let's put that into context. Okay. All right. Grade Jon Scheyer's offseason.
A+. Like whatever you want to give the highest grade, and not so much of like, they didn't do anything in the portal. They didn't really gain anybody. It's retention. Right. It was all about retention, and to keep Kyle Filipowski, even though I think he was going to be a first-round pick, to keep Tyrese Proctor, who I think would have been a first-round pick, was absolutely huge. And again, even to keep some of those, reserve guards, Blakes and Shoot, like most teams, those guys would have been long gone. With
we write off Blakes. Like Blakes is going to be a guy that plays. He'll play like 15 minutes. Yeah, he'll play 15 minutes a game.
Yep.
Well,
we haven't even mentioned Sean Stewart. Sean Stewart is a 4-man who is ranked as a top 20 player. We haven't mentioned his name yet.
Yeah, well, we did in the open when we were talking about who's coming in, but that's it. I mean, that tells you how loaded this team is. And look, you're right. It's whatever the highest grade is that you can give out. That's what Jon Scheyer's off-season is. And I do think that this will be a fascinating test of what Jon Scheyer is as a basketball coach. And the reason I say that is I think last year when he passed that test with flying colors, navigating the injuries he had early in the season, navigating that really young roster, figuring out Tyrese Proctor, finding a way to make him effective, finding a way to go through Jeremy Roach's injury and Dariq Whitehead's injury, getting Derek Lively up to speed to the point where I think everybody that covers the sport had Duke as like a top 10-ish team overall once the tournament came around. Everybody had them making a run in the dance, right? We all knew how good they were at once January hit. And I don't think that he could have done a better job last season. Now he's coming into the year with all of this expectation. Let's see how he's able to handle it. And I think he's going to do a good job with it. Listen, this has been an episode of the Field of 68's college basketball offseason grades. You heard it here first. Duke A++. Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.